What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here, bringing another Black Desert online video, and today we are taking a look at how to enhance accessories, just kind of a general overview if you are not familiar with it. Now, before we jump into it, just going to point out this is mostly used for gold accessories. The percentages and things we're going to talk about actually are the same for blue accessories, but you'll usually hear people use lower stacks because the cost of the accessory obviously is much cheaper, and the higher stacks are going to be a bit more valuable. If you're not familiar with fail stacking at all, this video is probably not going to help you out as far as step-by-step for that. We're more so with a basis knowledge of what fail stacking is and how it works. If you need a little bit better understanding of that, I did do a video about a year ago on enhancement fail stacking. I'll link to that in the description below if you want to check that out. That's just going over some boss gear and basics for fail stacking. So that's a pretty handy video. That was before percentages were released in the game, but it does actually hold up even after the percentages were released. So on the topic of percentages, let me pull this chart up here, and we're looking at boss accessories. I'm going to link this chart also in the description below if you want to check it out. But what we're looking at here are your important key numbers when enhancing accessory. Those numbers are 18, 40, 44, and 110. And the reason those numbers are important is those are your soft caps for each step in enhancing. So 18 fail stacks is your soft cap for pry accessories. So you can see it increases. You've got a baseline of 25% at 0 fail stacks. And then you have an increase of 2.5% all the way up until 18. Now it's called a soft cap because past this point you have diminishing returns on the increased fail stack. Any soft cap is because you have severely diminished returns beyond that. So it caps at 70% at 18, and then you can see instead of getting a 2.5% increase after 18, you're only getting a 0.5% increase. This means to even get like an extra 5% increase, you'd have to be using 28 stack and 10 more stacks off the 18 just to get a 5% increase. Again, this is why it's called a soft cap. So for a pry, we're going to be going with 18 stack. Obviously, if it fails, it'll be a 19, and we'll use that. I'm not saying you can't use higher fail stacks if you want to. That's definitely not a bad thing. And also, when you get into the higher stacks, you know, it's going to be fairly uncommon for you to have exactly the number that you need. And you'll see what I mean when we start actually getting into the enhancing. So then moving on to the 40, that's the soft cap for duo. At 40%, it goes up 1%. Each stack until you get to 40. You have a soft cap at 50%. It only goes up 0.2 after that. So you can see trying to do like a 55 stack or something, you're only at 53%. It's a really terrible increase for the price of that stack beyond 40. And then very close to 40 is your tri soft cap at 44. So it caps at 40.5% and then only increases 0.15% beyond that. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people like, oh, I use a minimum of a 60 stack for my tri accessories, but it's really, I mean, you're almost the same percentage. It's pretty terrible beyond 44 from there. And then we get on to TET, which caps at 110, 30% increase from there. And you can see beyond that, first of all, it's only a 0.25% increase across each one. 30% being the cap at 110, and then a 0.05% beyond 30. So even if you wanted to go with 120 stack, you've only increased it 0.45%. This sheet only goes up to 120. I did once check like a 212 fail stack or something on a TET accessory, and it was like 33% or 30, something like terrible for how high the stack. Obviously I didn't click it, but yeah. So there's your soft cap for TET. Pen, it's whatever the highest possible stack you can if you're clicking those pens. So there's your numbers. There's what you want to be shooting for with your fail stacks. Now, how are we getting those fail stacks? Now, I do a lot of enhancing each week, doing backup boss gear items and stuff, swinging for pens. So I have a lot of stacks readily available and can make them fairly easily. The easiest thing to do, as mentioned in the other fail stacking video, especially for the 18 stack, is you want to have some amount of reblath and or militia gear. I have a nice mix of the 6, and then I think 6 and 6 of these, just so that way I can swap between using my armor stones or weapon stones, because you're going to get both when you're out grinding or whatever, or you can split them up buying. You don't have to do this. I would recommend maybe at least 5 or 6 of these to have, just so that you got them and you're not swapping all over the place. Or having to repair every 15 seconds when you're enhancing. So it can be pretty easy, but yeah, you just click through. You're going to hit plus 15s. It's going to happen. We went straight through on that round, which is great, but that doesn't always happen. So we've got an 18 stack now, which is our soft cap for pry. So other things you're going to want, obviously, accessories is what you're doing. So we've got a little storage. Nice. We got a little storage of tongue grad rings here. Did we get a costume? Nice. Beautiful. Anyways, we've got a storage of tongue grad rings here that we're going to be clicking a few for this video. And then the third thing is you don't necessarily have to have these, but I do recommend it, and it doesn't have to be heave. I like to use heaves because these resell pretty decently if you end up hitting a tet in a weird position. But a few sets of something, Grunnel, heave, or whatever at pry that you can use. The reason for this is we'll use these. You can see I have a try one and a duo and a couple of pries. We're going to use these to push fail stacks if we don't want to use Valk's Cry. And what I mean by that is, so let's say we're at this 18 stack here, and I do have fail stacks ready to go for the next steps. However, let's say we didn't. So what we could do is we could reblath this stack, continue clicking this probably to 21 or 24 or so from here, and then take a couple of the pry armors, those pry heaves. Let's say we reblath this to 24. We could grab a pry heave, and then we want to just fail twice on that and hit 30 with that. If it succeeds, it'll be a duo. We'll set it aside, get another pry, and kind of push that. Once you have the stack to 30, and we're trying to create as close to a 40 stack as we can so that we have a duo accessory stack, well, any of the ones that went duo, we'll then go ahead and click to hopefully fail from there and go back to pry. You'll need a few of these to do it. So there's going to be situations where you're making multiple stacks. You're going to end up setting some aside. Maybe some succeed. You'll just throw these in the inventory like I have here. You might set some stacks off to the side in case you need to build them later. That's entirely up to you. You can also reblath up to 30 if you want to. I've even done reblaths to 40 multiple times. It just gets very pricey in Blackstones and sometimes not quite as efficient as just using some kind of armor setup that you can easily click, but you want things that are readily accessible. So again, this isn't required. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can just, you could always just Valk's Cry up, maybe reblath a 30 stack, Valk's Cry it from there if you want to, or if you have some other stacks laying around, however you want to get to that. But you want those duo stacks to be as close to 40 and the tri stacks to be as close to 44 as you can. Obviously, if you're like 39 or something like that, that's totally fine. Or on the upper end, let's say you have a 50 stack sitting around, that's totally fine to use for a tri stack. Obviously, it's a little higher than soft cap, but it's going to be a little easier using that stack for that than trying to push the stack, because you're going to succeed when you don't want to and you're going to fail when you don't want to. So with that set up, we've got our pry set and ready to go. So let's grab a couple of rings and we're going to get this bad boy to pry here real quick and then move on to duo. So here we go. Don't blow up, please. And boom. There's a pry. Okay, so let's jump on over. Let me change stacks and we will get over to a duo click. All right, so we switched over and actually got a great example of what we're talking about, using those heaves to push a little further if we're not doing the route of reblath or Valks. So closest up, we have a 33 stack here. So what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and grab one of my duo heaves. I'm going to click this one once. We want this to fail, and if this fails, I'm actually going to go ahead and click the try one because I don't have another duo, just the try for tet. If it goes tet, great, we'll make a little money here and use another stack. If it fails, then we have our stack ready to go. So first one, we'll click here, and it failed. Beautiful. So it's a 37 stack, and actually, I don't know that I want to click this. It's just 3 more. We could click this. It's going to go up 5, which will make it a 42 stack. I really just want to get it to 40. I think we'll save this try for another time, and I'll just grab 3 Valk's Cry on this one, play it a little bit safer here. And 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. So now we have a 40 stack. We're out that duo soft cap, which is right where we want to be. So let's grab a tongue grad ring to click with and see if we get ourselves a duo, and we will keep on moving here. And here we go. No duo. Okay, well, let's get set up and we'll run that back again real quick. Okay, we're able to get the duo on the next round, so we're good there. We've got our duo ring ready to go. We're going to swing for try. The next closest stack I had was this 49. Again, the soft cap's 44, so we're a little bit above it. But like I've said, this isn't too bad, and it's as close as we got without having to kind of force a fresh stack at 44. 49, not too terribly over it. So if we click this one, then we're then going to grab a 110 stack. When we're doing TED accessories, I really recommend you get at least that 110 soft cap. They're very expensive blowing up. You will blow them up at some point in your lifetime. I am 5 for 30 on TET accessories in general, so yeah, you're gonna fail, you're gonna lose them, and you want to get as high a percentage as you can for those. So I definitely recommend pushing as close to 110 as possible if you can. Will you hit it loader? Yes, of course you will. I think a 100 stack is like 25%. Anyway, it might, or 27.5%, something like that. A 90 stack's 25%. So they're not too terrible beyond that, but you definitely want to get as close as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one, try. If it fails, we're going to wrap up the video here. If it succeeds, obviously we go for TET. I want to save the other tongue grad rings I have for stream because we usually do all this enhancing on stream. So for the sake of the video, let's click it and see if we move on to the next step. We do not. So that's going to end it for this video. Hopefully that helped you guys out. And if you want to catch me finishing up the rest of these tongue grad rings, which I'm definitely going to do on stream, be sure to head on over to the Twitch page and drop a follow there so you get a notification when we go live. So we'll be doing some enhancing over on that page. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you'll get notifications when new videos do come out. With that said, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.